Hello. And a big thanks to Seed and to Make Magazine and to all of our speakers today. A round of applause for them, please. Okay, so we're almost at the end. I want to talk about creativity in systems. And actually, from some of the questions that I heard at the end of the presentations, I'm going to talk especially about getting resources in schools and how to do maker education on somewhat of a lower budget and without a lot of additional things coming into your teachers as demands upon them. So I've been here for about 6 years, 3 years as a systems engineer, training engineers in factories, and 3 years mentoring little makers. I'm currently at Steamhead, a nonprofit makerspace for teachers. And our goal is to bring design into education. I consider design the planning and creation of new things. I think a great thing about the word make and maker is that this is a new term and it allows a lot of people to come in and give their own definitions. So I want to look at how educators are cooperating in Shenzhen to bring design and maker ed into schools. Ooh, it's a little dark. So China has a lot of innovation right now. High-speed rail, highways going up, it's becoming easier for business to incorporate. There's experimental schools, funding going in for laser cutters. It's all over the place. All of these industries are affecting the schools. So I want to talk about how some cooperation is happening among these industries and among the schools. What we have right now, traditional classrooms, 4:30 school, after-school workshops, this is what we have to work with. And I think that it's valuable to come and see expensive, cool projects. I have an expensive project to show you in just a minute. But it's also important to work with what we have and to change from within. So yeah, worldwide, we have standard classrooms with traditional teaching, and I think that's actually amazing. We're all talking about changing it, but we should also acknowledge how powerful these classrooms are and how many students around the world they're educating. So what we're looking at right now is STEAM classrooms, incorporating a lot of different types of learning, maker education centers. We're enhancing what we have in terms of 4:30 schools and traditional classrooms. And a good collaboration that I've seen here is, the first one is how I collaborated as a community partner with an international school in Sheko. So we worked together on a week-long project. And let me see if I can get my video to play here. We set up the tools. We bought the hoverboards, we drew out our designs, cut the wood, and then our cars were built.
My name is Aaron.
And what did you make here?
I made a car.
Yeah. And then we raced. Okay, we're here at QSI. Everybody has built their wooden racer car attached to hoverboard.
Dude.
What's your name?
Ryan.
What you got here?
A car.
Packed up for the road. Unboxing at the field and racing outside. There we go. We built wooden cars on top of hoverboards. And so this was a Maker Ed week where the students came out and they learned carpentry and electronics. But we also incorporated this into their traditional learning, into their classroom environment. And so I want to give you guys an idea of how you would take kind of an exciting project and bring it into the classroom. So we learned about car frames, drawing designs, woodcraft, maker stuff. A history of vehicles, researched when we're designing our car frames. Art fundamentals, researched and used while drawing our designs. And material science, talking about the wood versus PVC versus metal. All of these things have very clear academic ties. The hoverboard cars are a little bit expensive, right? All these hoverboards for all the kids. You can also do this project with smaller cars. So we did a nerdy derby project with another group of kids over a shorter amount of time, and we learn the same basic concepts. Nerdy Derby, if you guys saw it outside, yeah, it's got a lot of older engineers. This is a good university student project. You get electronics and timing and measurement and large-scale construction. And once again, you can still touch on the same subjects: history, material science, design drawings. So, all these little hexagons up here are maker badges, and this is where it gets into how possible it is to bring maker education into traditional classrooms. So, maker badges represent a lot of different maker skills, like Girl Scout or Boy Scout badges. You get a badge for different types of achievements that you do. A lot of these skills are already being taught in classrooms by traditional teachers. Papercraft is an example I love. Right now, if a geometry teacher in math class uses paper models to help his students understand cubes and angles, what happens right now is at the end of the day, those kids go home, they've learned geometry better, they probably tell their parents that they had a good time, and that's kind of the end of it. What I want to do is start recognizing these skills. I want these skills to be recorded onto lesson plans that feed upwards to administration and live forward with the students. And open badges can do that. So the students, as they progress through grades, earn a lot more maker skills that goes along with the administration. And so the idea is that if we can start measuring these innovative teaching techniques, then we can take a lot of what is already there and grow it. This isn't my idea. Open Badges is funded by the MacArthur Foundation, a huge charity, a huge worldwide charity. The Badge Alliance has standards for all of this online. This is all open source material. This is stuff that's used by companies and engineers to train employees on different skills. It's time to bring this into the education system. So I've got all this stuff listed out. These files are free. They're online. I'll put a link up at the end. The main thing that these do is they help people communicate. They create a language of exchange. Actually, Maker and Maker Media, I think, is creating languages of exchange. When they put projects in magazines, when they put on Maker Fairs, they create common experiences for people to see what are cool projects, what are valuable projects and successful projects, and that allows us to talk with each other. By creating sets of skills for students, we will allow them to be rewarded in classroom environments and for those skills to grow over time. I feel that we all already know a lot of these important skills and have opportunities to teach them in classes. Okay, so just a quick look at the badges. They move through several states of design. It's very design-focused, getting your idea out into the world. I've got them organized into 3 groups, and there's a bunch of little badges up here. I've actually got some fairly poor but Chinese translations on the website as well. So we've got a group working on getting them in both languages. So this system of organization is something that's very useful for educators in schools to start recording progress, to measure how innovative one class is versus the next, rather than teachers just getting a pat on the back and knowing that maybe their students might be better off on tests in the future. Okay, a little bit more about school cooperation. So experimental schools. I think experimental schools have great opportunities to use systems like this. They have the authority to teach different programs. They have budgets to purchase equipment, although equipment isn't necessary. I'll show you that in a minute. And here is a great example of our speakers cooperating, UChai number 4 and SIS. Let me just give you a short look. You guys might be familiar with Kane's Arcade. This kid built a bunch of cardboard arcade machines in his dad's shop, and he invited the public to come use them. He talked about a lot of the creativity and learning that he got from that project. So schools are picking up this project and doing it in their gymnasiums. SACE and UChai worked together to build cardboard structures, to build arcade machines. So having international schools, public schools, and community partners work together, I'm seeing so much of this in Shenzhen. And we need to start calling it out as a particularly important activity so that we can reward those involved and so that other people can copy it. This will allow badges and information about students learning Maker Ed to be carried forward. Students won't need to stay with one teacher. I'd like us to get away from the idea that expensive 3D printers and tutors are what's needed for technical development. If we can start speaking a common language of achievement, then the students will own these records and be able to go to any schools that support these programs, and they will be able to improve their learning over a long amount of time. Okay, so in the Canes Arcade, yeah, game instructions, literacy and writing, wheels and gears, physics, cardboard crafting, geometry. So in a project-based learning school, you might find these all in one class. I feel that there's an opportunity, even when you can't combine your academic topics into one class, there is the possibility of doing these activities in single subject classrooms. One more bit about this. So when you are doing a project like Canes Arcade, your literacy and writing teachers can address that project. If you can get your physics teacher to work on it as well, then they'll be building arcade machines. It's great to have all of the various classrooms cooperate, but it's not necessary. You reward these badges out. Your school will see a benefit of cooperating, but even if the students can only hit on a few of these, those badges will carry forward with them and they'll get chances in the coming years. So cooperate with standards and learn with creativity. Creativity is a skill. It's a skill that can be practiced. When I apply these standardization, these definitions to it, I'm not entirely right. But I do think that we need more and more of us to start applying these definitions so that we can have more conversations about it. Is Maker Ed a fad? Yeah, I think that all evolving models are good models. So one of the things that I like when Maker becomes Maker Ed, it gives more people an opportunity to contribute their ideas to it. We don't just call it design school where experienced professors tell us exactly what we should be learning. Because it's a new word that has a lot of ties to old things, we're able to accept new definitions for these things. So yeah, I hope Maker Ed is a little bit of a fad because I hope that we keep evolving. So all these resources are Creative Commons Zero. They're on GitHub. They're on my site. You can ask me after the meeting for them. And thank you very much. Is there any questions?
All right, any questions? Nope. All right, so I would like to, oh, there is a question.
我想问一下，创客教育我看到就是用到中小学的比较多，然后在幼儿园如何就是推行这种创客的精神，在幼儿园能不能去实行这个创客教育？我想问的是这个问题。
All right, is there anybody that can translate that for James?
Yeah, is it possible to integrate Maker Ed into kindergartens? Yeah, definitely. I think that an interesting thing about this skill list that I put together is I found that it was applying to really large, diverse sets of students. University students that haven't done programming before, art students, want to learn block programming, which is kindergarten level programming, because it's new. Nobody's done it before. There's so many new things that nobody's done before. I saw a 3D printer and a sewing machine that are usable by kinder level kids, and there was university kids there looking at the same technology. The fundamentals of getting our ideas out into the world, from the other speakers that I've heard and from the projects that I've seen, are definitely available to all levels.
Anybody else? All right, so on behalf of all the speakers, thank you all of you for coming.